Hello, hello. What is up, everyone? I am sorry, I am running super late on this, but um, I'm excited to be here now. Um, I'm sure some of you, not all of you, are aware. Over the last week, um, I became a father, so having to find time um to do a live stream is incredibly hard because of how much you need to feed them and take care of them and everything. So um right now she is down for sleep, down for a nap, and hopefully, um, I mean, she'll probably be up soon, to be fed. So I'm gonna power through this so I can get back to it, and then hopefully I'll be good to go for this next chapter, 1164. So without further ado, just know that down, oh yeah, I got it first try. Down here in the corner, you can read along with me on the Viz official. Here we go. Okay, let's do one time, one page at a time. So we have One Piece, chapter 1163, Promise. And it says, since we don't have Yamato anymore, in the cover story, we have reader request. Luffy doing parkour all over a town with a white Gibson or white gibbons, which I believe are like chimps or like small monkeys. Um, so that's super cool. Oh, yeah. Overall, cool. I like it. Monkey D. Luffy hanging out with monkeys makes sense. I do like that they're all kind of wearing the same merch. It's kind of cool. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, we see Emu coming over top of Saturn, basically. Like, we kind of see him, but like, it's almost like Emu's riding on his shoulders. And the Marines are like, Saint Saturn, why do you look like that? Are those devil fruit powers? And we hear nuisances. And you see like his claws and stuff like that have like this darkness coming over them, almost like making more of his like spidery legs. And they're all like, huh? Interesting. And they just start killing Marines. What? Why would they do that? And they're all like, ugh, ugh. And the pirates are like, why is it attacking the Navy? Whose side is it on? And they just start grabbing the treasure and they're like, nobody's side. And they're all just running. That's crazy. Like, what? Okay. Then we see um a Marine say, all units withdraw. Keep your distance. And you just hear, ah, yeah, do not attack. Secure an escape route. And we hear Roger go, hey, get up, guys. And they're like, ow, it hurts, but it's so fascinating. What are you talking about? I can't believe what it did to my crew. What? And Roger says, Gabon, give these guys backup. Take some treasure and split. And Gabon says, not again. You better not get yourself in trouble. Oh, shit. And then we hear Garp go, what's going on here? What is that monster? And one of the Marines says, I don't know. Saint Saturn just started transforming before our eyes. And Garp goes, "The five elders, huh? Never seen 'em before. Look about right for the kind of freak who'd sit atop those maggots." It says Vice Admiral Garp, Ixnay on the Andersley. Are you man, I'm gonna crash out again. I'm gonna do it. Why? Why then? Why do you stay? Why do you stay for years after this? Like, you hate these guys. Why? Mm, such a dick. Okay, let's see. And all of a sudden, Rox is there and he sees Emu. King of the Bilge Rats. You're here to kill me, aren't you? And then Emu says, "So it was thee, Davy Jones." And it says, Rock says, "You got the wrong guy. I've never even met him. However, promises are meant to be kept, which is exactly why thy kind must be erased from history." Mm. So he's calling Rocks Davy Jones. Interesting. Man, it's crazy that Emu's basically just like taking over Saturn. And what's so crazy about this is, why didn't he do this on Egghead? Maybe he thought, I sent five Gorosei. Why would I need to show up? But still, that's kind of stupid, right? And Emu says, "My world is still incomplete. It," and then Rock says, "It ain't your world." And he like cuts off one of the legs. And the Marines are like, look at Rocks. He dares attack Saint Saturn." And Marine's like, should we offer help, Rear Admiral? And he's like, I don't. And Garp says, "Of course we're helping out. Move it." It says Vice Admiral Garp. Huh? Wait a second. Helping out which side? And then we see the pirates running amok, and it says, "The pirates are making off with the treasure. Stop them. Those are world class valuables." And then Captain John sees them and he says, "It's wild out there." It says, "Ready to start hauling?" It says, "Just say the word, Captain John." And he says, "So long, rocks pirates." Ugh. Interesting. Um, then we see Dragon be like, "What's happening over there? I hear screaming." And Shanks is like, "Wah." And then Dragon's like, "There, a Navy ship through the trees. They'll be able to protect the child." Huh. I don't think that's gonna end how you think it's going to, Dragon. Oh shit. And he's using his magnetism power and all the treasures flying. And Dragon's like, "Whoa." And all these pirates are like, "Come back, treasure." And Gabon's like, "All the metal is reacting to something. It's being pulled away from us." And John says, "Big Eater, come to me, my treasure." And he's just getting all of the gold and loot and swords. And then we hear, that's Captain John's magnet power. There's a powerful pull coming from the southeast entrance to the valley. And Roger says, move it. Let them figure that out. It says, Roger. And then it looks like Gonzui says, stupid John. And he goes, Sky Snake, Red Cannon, and blasts something. Oh, shit. Is he the originator of the bomb fruit? And he explodes and it says, Captain John. And all the treasure starts falling, and then Dragon falls. And Shiki goes, Gonzui, why did you shoot John? And he says, do you really think he's going to split that treasure with us? And he says, each of those chests. He says, each of those chests is worth at least 1 billion berries. And Shiki goes, uh, Bill. And it says, if anyone want to keep it all to himself, or anyone would want to keep it all to themselves. And then we see all the Marines saying, you can't, Vice Admiral. That's the supreme authority of the world government up there. And he says, what? That vermin? And they're like, And then we see uh Kaido being like, let me try too, Rocks. And it says, damn it, Kaido, wait right there. And we see Big Mom's coming back. And she's like, I'm gonna kill you. And Kaido says, what are you, jealous? Check this out. And then we see, oh man. And then we see Whitebeard, Rocks, Roger, and Garp. And it says, they're all teeing off. And it says, that's my quarry, Garp. And we hear Galaxy. Oh man. Impact, divine departure, pandemonium, chalk, chalk Hakua, Ikoku sovereignty. God is like dragon. Yo, that's stupid. That's crazy. This is insane. This panel is fucking nuts. Oh my god. Yo, that's so much Conqueror's hockey. You got Black Lightning coming off of Newgate's shit. You got Black Lightning coming off of Garps and Rogers and Rocks, and like all of them are just going crazy. Oh my god. Oh my. This panel is tough. My god. And we just see Emu, who's like got holes fucking all over his body, just letting out all this Conqueror's hockey. Like, it's insane. People start fainting. Everyone's losing it. All the Marines down. And we see some of the Roger pirates are like, what's going on over there? Armageddon or something? It says, look at all the chests, pick them up. And he's like, Rayleigh's got his eye on the prize. It says, never forget a pirate's true calling. And we see Dragon say, this is all insane. I need to at least save the baby. Huh? What? And then all of a sudden, I said, where'd he go? And we see a young Shanks wandering towards the treasure chest. Oh, shit. And Emu's just there. And we see Kaido says, I can't spit out what I've already eaten. And it says, give me money then, Big Mom. And then Emu says, I can see them running through the distant forest. I'm like, hmm? And Garf says, my blow did the trick. And Roger said, no, it was mine. And they're like, he's like cracking like when they regenerate. And Rock says, hey, are you talking about? And Emu says, new Davies, a woman and a child. And it says, striving so very hard to live, a, a pestilence that must not be unleashed upon the world. And then Rock says, whatever you're thinking, don't do it. And Rock swings in and just cuts off the head of Emu, or at least what we think is. And all of a sudden, Garp hears boom, boom. And Emu says, Moo, I will do nothing. And Rock says, Urgh, and it says, what is this? It doesn't even hurt. And Emu says, thou wilt end thy own bloodline, slaughter thy wife and child. And Rock says, what? Are you crazy? I'm not gonna. And then he says, Domi Reversi. And they're all like, what? And all of a sudden he just starts transforming and his fangs are getting long. Oh my god. It says to be continued. My goodness. Hi. What? No, I didn't. I can though. I'm almost done. About to be. Yo, this chapter is crazy. Astromax says it's crazy how many indirect implications are in this chapter. Yeah, yeah. There's so much going on here. So much. I'm just gonna quick breeze through it real quick because I gotta go feed the baby. Um, the whole like Emu showing up starts killing Marines makes sense. Emu doesn't want Marines to know who they are. Garp being like, I'm gonna swing on him, which I'm like, again, Garp is just such an abysmal character at this point, knowing what he knows. Um, And then we see, I mean, it's just all the stuff with uh like Emu and Davy Jones and Rocks. Like, it's just so good. Just being that guy and saying my world is still incomplete is an interesting statement. Um, People asking Garp whose side he's gonna help. John being a greedy fuck. Old news. Gonzoi being the previous user of the bomb fruit. That was a random one. I wasn't quite ready for. Um, Shiki being like, they all these chests are worth 1 billion. Uh, it's pretty interesting because the way he's looking like he's gonna kill Gonzui next and go from there. Automax says so much information without revealing much at all. Classic Oda. Yeah. Um, all of them squaring up and just launching what is probably like the most powerful attacks like combination that we've ever seen, and Emu just being good. Um, the whole Shanks thing with him possibly going into the treasure, and then Rox getting pissed off that he was talking shit, and then him getting punctured and Domi reversied is pretty crazy. A lot of people said it couldn't be done. A lot of people said that Domi reversi to a Conqueror's user can't happen. We just saw one of the strongest do it. So it makes me think that there's a level of like you can't do it and you can't resist it unless you have something special. And I'd say probably the Nika fruit is it. So I'm very interested to see where this goes next chapter. And there's no break. It's so good. But yeah, this chapter to me, it didn't feel like a ton happened, but a decent bit. And like you said, implications. The fact that rocks can be reversed means anyone can. Exactly. 100%. So I was always under that impression, but I know other people had different thoughts. So yeah, this is next level. And that just means the next chapter is gonna go wild. And we got our first named attack by rocks. Like, man, just awesome. To me, this chapter is like a 9 out of 10. It had a lot of interesting stuff, not like a ton of progression story wise, but like just a bunch of awesome panels and like small story progressions here and there, setting everything up and getting us to see the full scope of what is happening here. So, we just don't know the exact stipulation on how Emu's power works. Huge chapter. Yeah, like we really don't. And like I think that whenever we get into these conversations of like, well, hockey can beat this or something like that, maybe it can, but I don't know if Rox is the one to do it. I mean, it's possible that he goes on to just I don't know, one v five these guys, which is would be kind of nuts. So I don't know. I'm very interested to see what's about to happen here. Next chapter is gonna have crazy setups, so I'm very excited um, for next chapter. But oh man, well we I won't have to wait very long because it's already Thursday and usually things start progressing and then we have Sunday for the official. So I will be right back here, hopefully on this weekend at some point to read this, but I'm just ecstatic. So, um, as always, thank you guys for tuning in. Um, this was an excellent chapter, and I can't wait to see what Oda has in store for us next week. But until then, I gotta go make sure to feed my new daughter. And I will see you guys right back here in a few days. So until then, John.